Austin cyclist fought with insurance to prove his case even after having video of a crash. He says the driver's insurance finally settled for damages.
Now he's pushing for police and prosecutors to investigate the case under a new Texas law that could mean charging the driver. KXAN investigator Arzo Deuced takes a look at the crosswalk law that went into effect and found few cases have been filed.
And good morning to you all. Thanks so much for joining us on KXAN Live. I'm Will Dupree coming to you from the KXAN Live studio for yet another edition of Inside the Investigations. Joining me, as we have had the past few months, is investigative reporter Kelly Wiley. Kelly, nice to see you. Thank you for being here too.
Nice to see you. Good morning.
Yeah, so glad to have this conversation because each week what we're trying to do is highlight one of the stories that you and the team have investigated and talk a little bit more in depth about what you all uncovered.
Yes. This week we've got a great investigation. It's been a while since we've had Arzo
that is true.
On our, not a podcast, what is this, our
live stream.
Talks. Yes,
yeah.
Our live stream. Where's my brain? It's been a while since we've had her, but we've got a really interesting investigation, a continuation of some reporting that she's been doing.
All right, and let's bring her in now. Arzo Deuced, investigative reporter here at KXAN. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that too.
Thanks, guys. Hi, Will. Hi, Kelly.
Hello. Well, thank you so much for getting up early here with us to talk about this investigation. I want to start out because this is a continuation of reporting that you've been doing. And there's a state law that was enacted in 2021 that made it a crime to kill or injure a pedestrian, cyclist, or any other crosswalk user. But let's start out with reminding us who inspired this law.
Well, I'm going to take you back to December when we actually, even before last December, we met a cyclist by the name of Michael Passman who had been really struggling to get insurance to pay for damages to his bike and to his injury after he was hit by a car in the Austin area. And in talking to him, he had video of his crash. In talking to him, he said, Arzo, I'm wondering why the state law is not apply in my case. And I asked more about it and started learning that we in Texas passed the Lisa Torrey Smith Act in 2021. Essentially, the Lisa Torrey Smith Act makes it a crime to kill or injure a pedestrian who is crossing a crosswalk. Lisa Torrey Smith was a mother in the Houston area. She was walking one morning her 6-year-old son to school. She was right in the middle of the crosswalk in a school zone when she was hit by a driver. Her family says, and we've checked with the Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office, no charges were filed against the driver who killed this mother. Her son, 6-year-old son, was severely injured, but ended up surviving, has health issues as a result of it, and will be recovering from that for probably the rest of his life, I'm told. But the family came down to Austin. They pled their case to lawmakers because they wanted accountability for this mother who had died. And so they pushed lawmakers, and this law passed in September of 2021. So, looking back at, how laws work, I would consider it fairly new because there is going to be a learning curve, right, to get these laws passed. But it's now been more than 2 years since the law has been in effect. And when we started looking into it, we wanted to know, well, how is it being implemented? In Austin, we've got a huge cyclist and pedestrian community. How many cases have we seen filed under this law, and what have been the results?
You, again, looked at just how many cases were filed related to this law. What did you find about that?
Well, we checked with Austin police repeatedly and kept asking them about, how's the implementation of this law going? Have there been limitations in getting this implemented? It's going to take some time for all officers, right, to be educated on the law. And what we found is since the law went into effect, and the key point here is also important to note that any cases after September 2021 would apply, right, and fall under this law's guidance. So since the law went into effect, APD has filed one case. We've asked for details, but we were not given the details. We were told to, in fact, put in a public information request. And as of about 17, 18 days ago, that request is still being processed. We then went to the Travis County District Attorney's Office to say, okay, well, since the law has been implemented, how many cases have you prosecuted under the law? And what we found is that Travis County District Attorney has prosecuted one case under this law. We're following it pretty closely because the interesting thing is the driver in that case pled guilty for striking and killing a pedestrian in Austin. He got 5 years probation. Recently, he violated that probation. So he's going to be back in court soon, and we're going to be watching this case because what we want to know is, one, why under this law, why did he just get probation? And then two, now what happens that he's violated the probation? We're told by the DA's office that he could now face jail time. So it'll be interesting to see what the outcome will be. There's two other cases. A driver hit two pedestrians, and there is an arrest warrant out for that driver, but that's the furthest it's gone so far.
Wow. So there's going to be more reporting here because it seems like you're wanting to know why only one case. Is this a matter of educating more officers, or is this a matter of sometimes we're applying it, sometimes not? I'm looking forward to seeing what you find out from that records request. But when it comes to the case of the cyclist in your story, your report, where does his case stand?
Well, the good news is, he was battling insurance, right? He got that all settled, but then he said there needed to be some accountability. He's right now trying to work and he's trying to get a hold of Austin police and the Travis County DA's office. And he said he's gotten a better response from the DA's office, and they're trying to figure out where this case falls. Now, in all of this, we also learned that Lisa Torrey Smith's family, specifically her sister, Gina Torrey, has been very involved and pushed for this law, right, along with her family. But then she also formed Citizens for Road Safety Texas. So the group not only pushed for the law, but is now spreading awareness about the law and trying to see how it's being implemented. So they're trying to track this. And I was told by Gina Torrey that they are getting calls from families who are not getting anywhere with police or the DA's office. And so this group is trying to help understand, well, why is that? We now have a law in the books. Why is it not being followed? But ultimately, it's going to come down to education and awareness, right? And the groups that have pushed for this law want it to be like DWI laws, that people, not only police and the DA's office are aware of it, but also all of us to know that if you hit someone and hurt someone or kill someone crossing a crosswalk, it's a crime, and you could face either a ticket or you could face jail time.
Investigative reporter Arzo Dost has been joining us this morning to talk about her latest story. The headline right there is Texas law named after mom killed in a crosswalk being enforced. And of course, this is not going to be the end of that reporting. As she's just been talking about, there's still lots more threads to follow. But Arzo, thank you again for talking with us. We so appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, everybody. That is the latest edition of Inside the Investigations. Kelly, once again, I think that's a great conversation to have, and we've got many more coming up soon.
Yes, I feel like you guys got a peek into how we decide about follow-ups and continuing on our reporting. So excited to see what's next.
Absolutely. That is Kelly Wiley. I'm Will Dupree. We will see you back here next Wednesday for Inside the Investigations. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Take care.